Good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, Ronak, how are you?
All good, sir.
Good, good. You seem to be handling the first week of classes okay?
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Just just settling in.
That's because you're not battling any snow or ice yet.
Yeah,
It'll come soon enough.
yes, sir. As
Hey,
I have heard.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Hopefully this won't take too long. This hour will go by very quickly, I'm sure.
Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, sure. How are you?
I'm doing well. What about you guys?
Good.
How's the weather in Chicago?
Oh, it's amazing. You're missing out. Where are you at?
I'm in California right now, so not
Are you
really
in
missing
Palo
it.
Alto?
Mountain View.
Mountain View. Okay. Well, it's
Yeah,
always beautiful there.
yeah. So,
It's always very expensive there too.
uh, kind of is, yeah.
Yeah. How are you getting around? You're using the Caltrain?
I bought a car.
You bought a car.
Yeah, I can't do public transport.
You can't do public transport. Oh my God.
Uh, I cannot wait for a bus for 25 minutes. I got better stuff to do.
Oh my God. So, well, I'm sure that's expensive too. Unless, of course, you're Ubering around on the weekends.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do that too?
yeah. I try to get out as much as I can. So,
Good.
Hey, hi, Professor.
Good morning, Shubham. How are you?
Morning. Doing good. I'm at office.
Good. So you're going to be talking about HexaOne, right?
Right, that's the plan.
Good, cool. I'm thinking maybe 15, 20 minutes. What do you think?
I guess we'll take around about 30 minutes is what we
30
have
minutes.
for.
That's okay. That's good. Okay. Kind of like the journey, how you got there, and why is a startup a good idea for for MEM students in 2025, right?
Absolutely. So we have sort of structured it. We have a fun simulation game in place for the folks to go about what it looks like to live in a day of running a startup.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
You've literally built the simulation.
I sure did. So,
Wow. Maybe we can use it in class one day.
100%.
Yeah. We have a lot of entrepreneurship classes. I don't think any of them use simulation.
Yeah, I think the one that I've seen that was what Usher has built. I think we can just keep on building it and it will just get better with more data.
I guess I'm starting to realize why Asher is in Mountain View. None of the rest of us are. So Mountain View must understand a certain thing about talent that we don't. So,
well, Shubham is here with me. He's still my roommate.
well, there you go. Only the best. Only the best make it west. Is that what they say?
Fingers crossed, yes, hopefully.
I've never heard that, but
How
I'll
about
take
only
it.
the best in the Midwest? How about that, right?
That's better, actually.
That rhymes well, yes.
That makes more sense. That's
Yeah, represent Midwest always.
Well, either way, I mean, good stuff comes from all over the country, guys. It doesn't just come from Silicon Valley, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, these days, a lot of good people are leaving Silicon Valley and not of their own choice, right?
yeah, it's a bit expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just got here 2 weeks ago, so I was right where you are.
Okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to take maybe five or 10 minutes at the front end so that we can get some basic concepts in, and then I'll turn it over to our buddies over here at HexaOne. It's already after 1:30, so let's get started. Welcome to the MEM seminar, week one for MEM 490-1. This is all about us getting together as a group, the incoming class, meeting some of the folks from the returning class, meeting some guest speakers. Next week, we'll have a really good guest speaker. So next week, we will try to be on the ground as well as online. We will be in Krebs' classroom. Both incoming and returning classes are invited. Christine Scheivink is the CEO of Shure. Shure has hired many of our students in the past. It's a hardware company. They do microphones and microphone setups, teleconferencing, things like that. But there's still a lot of software that's involved in their business as well as systems. The thing I want to share with you to this afternoon, just two quick concepts. One of them is called the job hunt. And I know a lot of you are frustrated already with the job hunt because you send in resumes, the traditional approach to a target company, and that target company ghosts you, doesn't respond, never interviews you. You can send out 100 of these things and maybe you get 1 or 2 responses. What I'd like to propose to you is a more nuanced approach, right? A more subtle approach. And that is to use what I guess I could call the warm introduction, right? So between you and the target company is a gap. And that gap can be filled by somebody that both of you know, that both of you trust. In this case, there's a whole series of people that might be able to do warm introductions for you, right? I'm one of them. I do a few warm introductions per year per student, right? I have connections at places like Motorola and companies like Shure. Basically, almost everyone on the advisory board I've got connections with. But also, you've got MEM alumni. You've got current day students, both returning and incoming. You've got MEM faculty. You've got friends of MEM like Eric Rivera. So if you meet Eric, you might very well meet him at the Motorola tour. He always is very happy to do warm introductions to specific, and this is the key, specific job opportunities, right? So if you see an open rec that you believe you're perfectly situated for, then please go for it, but use the warm introduction method because I think you'll find it much more effective, right? What'll happen is Eric gets your email and then forwards it on to the hiring manager and says, hey, this is a good guy. This person's from MEM. He's from Northwestern. I can vouch for these guys. These guys have a great curriculum. And that will get you a leg up on the job where, frankly, they might have a stack of 1,000 resumes sometimes to go through. So if you can stand out in any way, that would be one way to do it, right? So the advisory board is another approach. And then, of course, anytime you meet a guest speaker at an event, any connection you make on campus, whether it's Kellogg, sometimes a Kellogg student or a Kellogg guest speaker can be a warm introduction kind of point of contact for you. So that was the first thing I wanted to share with you. I guess the other thing I wanted to share with you is this whole idea of, so that was the triangulation thing. What is a business model, right? So a business model, you can look it up on any AI. This is pretty much what they would tell you, right? It's how you monetize your technology. I mean, that's the simplest way of putting it, right? It includes a value proposition. It includes customer segments. It includes channels, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, partnerships, and cost structures. It's literally the mechanisms between your technology and your market. Okay, so how do you monetize it? This is where a lot of engineers fail. They're great at creating technology. They're great at inventing. They're maybe even great at creating IP or creating code, right? That works, might even work beautifully. But if you don't have a way to go to market, if you have no way to monetize it, you don't have a business, right? So examples of monetization schemes, business models, subscription, we all know about, freemium model, marketplace model, razor and blade model, franchise model, DTC, direct to consumer. These are the kind of the big 5 or 6 that I think everyone talks about. I'm sure there's others. But think about how you can monetize your business, how you can monetize your technology. And that's kind of our on-ramp to HexaOne. So HexaOne is a series of students that were working on a project that was with a medical device company that they were interested in project management and AI. Actually, they were interested in project management and risk management in particular, without necessarily the AI. They were more interested in database solutions, right? And the team delivered, but I know that they were wondering how they could use the risk management approach and AI to create something more automated, easier for customers to use, more comprehensive, and less time intensive. So you wouldn't need as much energy to manage the risks on a project. So with that, we've got Bakir and Shubham and Ashar. Welcome, you guys. I'll turn it over to you and let you share your screen, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Professor. I'll go first. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the MEM program. I hope you will have one heck of a time when you go through this course. There's a lot to catch up with, a lot of great people to meet with, an experience I probably hope the way we had, you do one better. So with that thought, I am Shubham. Currently, I work as a senior operations manager at a startup here in Mountain View. At the same time, I also look into the day-to-day operations for HexaOne Associates. It is an idea that, as Professor mentioned, conceptualized once we delivered a risk management database solution to a medtech company. And actually, we just did not deliver what they required. We actually ended up over-delivering with an AI recommended solution, which they thoroughly liked. And that was proposed by Usher. And probably we wanted to build a company around it. So Professor Yuri and 5 of us, that was Ashar, Bakir, Anusha, and Vardhaman, came along to build a startup around it. That was our initial product to pursue. Eventually, we ended up pursuing other endeavors as well. For example, creating an application that is going to help a vertical farming operation in Chicago to go about their day-to-day operation by digitizing how they record their data and how they run the facility. So that's an application that we are currently building. There's a lot that Usher can add with reference to risk management. It's an exciting field. Now, just talking from a personal experience, it's drastically different from how you do your day-to-day job. In a startup, you are firefighting every day. You have a lot of consequential decisions from finances to product to operations. Every decision that you have to take as a team is the toughest spot to be. I know a lot of you must have come from an individual contributor capacity and may have also managed a team. But when you have equal contributors in a team, that is what engineering management would come the most valuable for you as a leader or as a manager. With that thought, I think no words can justify as to how run a startup than actually showing you as to how one can go about it when you run a company. And I guess this is a great segue for Ashar to take in and walk you through as to what he has for you.
Yeah, thank you, Shubham, and Professor, for the kind introductions. Let me take a moment to congratulate everyone and welcome you all to MEM and Northwestern. I hope you're very proud of yourselves up to this point, but there's still work to be done going forward, especially if you're considering becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own company. There is no one in this world that can teach you how to become an entrepreneur. But what big universities such as Northwestern and MEM course does is equip you with the tools to help you guide and shape your entrepreneurial journey. For you, I have given you access, and I will be giving you access to a tool that we prepared at HexaOne. Is simulation for entrepreneurship. And first, let me show you how it works, and I'll give you access to it. And this is pre-beta, so don't be too skeptical on it. Let me know if you can see my screen. Are you guys able to see it? Perfect. So the moment you get access, you'll be given to this, landed to this screen where you'll enter your name and the code that I will provide you. Once you're in here, your new active sessions will be shown up here. You have to join the game and select what kind of company are you going for. Is it B2B enterprise solutions, software as a service, or B2C software as a service, mobile app, or e-commerce? I'll start off with the mobile app. You can choose your DNA of the founder. Are you a technical founder? Are you a marketing founder? Are you just business relationship founder? I'll just go with the technical because I'm a technical person. Enter the name of your company. And you launch your startup. Now this is dashboard where you can see the current status of your company. This is subjected to change each quarter. This is a 3-year simulation. You start off with a 50K, 100% equity, 0 customers, 0 revenue. This is your customer satisfaction scores, the quality of your product, and the morale of your team. Now there's a lot more things to it, but for the purpose of this demo, we're keeping it short. And you only ever have to worry about allocating your resources, which is a very important thing that you will learn going forward in Professor Mark's class, also in project management, how to allocate your resources optimally to get the most out of them. So you start off with a 50K cash and you have to allocate responsibly so that you don't run out of your cash runway, which is currently at 10 months. And after every quarter, the game simulates. So for example, I'll hire an engineer and spend some money on digital marketing, but that's all about I'll do in the first quarter. I'll confirm the allocation. And as you can see, now my runway is just 2 months. So you'll get an access to your own company. You'll have to make these micro decisions. After every allocation you have saved, you'll get 1 minute to make your decisions. After you have logged in your decision, you'll have to wait until there's a prompt in the below saying the next quarter has started. So with that being said, I'll share the link with you guys and have you jump on the app. Oops. Should be here somewhere.
Would you mind sending the link in the code email afterwards?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks.
Let me try it. I'll put it in the Zoom link so that everyone has it.
Do you want me to send it?
Yeah, can you send it?
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. Okay.
So is this assuming your product's already built, or does this assume you still have to build your product?
So this is assuming you have some sort of product already. So you can start selling day one.
Got it, okay.
It's actually not for building a product. It's once you have a product in the market and how you go about selling this off, allocating the resources to take better decision as a company and not product specific.
And does it talk about investments at all, or is it just, I mean, for example, if you need more cash, can you raise more cash?
Yep.
And obviously that takes energy to raise the cash too, right?
So there will, after every quarter, you want to take a quick glance, 1 or 2 seconds into funding. If you meet the criteria of the seed round, you're eligible to apply for seed round funding. I don't think we can get to Series A in 3 years, but seed round you can definitely reach if you play your cards right.
Got it, okay. All right.
So let me know when you're just with a thumbs up or okay in the chat so I can start the game for you all.
Can you put up the code again, the classroom code?
Oh, perfect.
I didn't write it down. Yes.
Yeah, just
Shubham, can you put it in the chat also?
Yep.
My Zoom has disappeared. I don't know where.
So one of the questions was, how does this differ from StratSim, which is what's used in 402?
Right. So It's a bit different because it focuses more on the entrepreneurial side. So this is from 0 to 1 and beyond. While when you're talking about StratSim, it's like you already have all the infrastructure set up and you can start making revenue right off the bat in terms of making a lot of cars in the first year. Here you don't have only 50,000 cash, which is in a startup next to nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's Ashar is right about when you are doing StratSim, you are running a company with a cash flow where you do not, so you whatever money you generate, you always have that bandwidth to take risk. In a startup, you do not have that leverage. You run out of your seed fund too soon. So you have to be far more careful when you have to run a startup in its initial phase, especially with a seed fund. So it's
So
from a startup.
you've got a product that's already built, but you have no revenue coming in.
Yeah. It's like you just have capital, and from there on, you have to generate revenue. You have to manage the team. You also see all the indicators.
yeah, so it's like you and your two buddies in your mama garage, you cooked up something, and now you got to do what you got to do to sell
Got it. Okay.
So hopefully everyone is joined. I'll give you let's say 160 to 65 seconds to lock in your allocations.
Should we join the classroom or go into practice mode?
Classrooms. Just go into classrooms. There should be a pre-built one. You should be able to enter your company's details.
I keep getting username already exists, registration failed, stuff like that. So
Just refresh out of it and open the link again and use a different username.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a finished product. This is like pre-beta, so there might be some issues.
Quick question. Do we join the live session under available games or do we click on practice solo?
Live sessions.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm trying to join as a student. Should I be joining as an instructor?
You're good with student.
Because it doesn't seem to let me in as a student at all. And I've tried multiple browsers, refresh the whole 9 yards.
I guess it must be because in the previous logins.
All right. Let me do one thing. Let me show. Yeah, because we tested this a lot, so it may be automated testing might have added a lot of users with the same name, I guess.
Yeah.
So I thought your business was about risk management and automating that, but it looks like it's more into the simulation thing.
It's a digital transformation positioning that we went about. The digital transformation came about when we were thinking about risk management. There were layers to it. When you cannot just straight up pick up AI and put into risk management, you have to do a market research as to which of the industry and the verticals face the most issues. And what we came up with is Chicago area has quite many companies, such as construction, manufacturing companies, which are legacy companies that they do record their task day-to-day basis, but they do not are not able to assess what risk they have, eventually trying to firefight day in, day out. We have few named clients, not clients as in from our market research, we got to know about companies that are going about it and were seeking out solutions. Currently, they go to big consulting companies with expensive softwares, committing for years without any help. So our market research told us that this solution is something that we can build for legacy companies. So that's where we started out, trying to build a solution for legacy companies. And we try to use the same running template for other small businesses which are trying to scale up as well.
Okay, got it.
I'll say try incognito once and the new code that I
Incognito.
sent. Yeah,
I'll try that.
because I think it's because of the load, the servers are not able to.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, don't let me hold everything up, guys. You go ahead with
Right.
with the rest.
So if at all it is running for the rest of the folks, if you can put it in the chat, if it's not, put in a cross, just so that we get an assessment of how many folks are into the game or not. Cool. It's working for a few of us. Any folks for whom it's not running on their systems?
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly in the chat, which code have you all joined with? Because there are two codes in the chat.
There are a few on the first, there are a few on the...
Okay. I think there are more on the first. All right, perfect. So everyone switch to the first code. Sorry for all the confusion.
Cool. Okay, I think if we have started seeing
Perfect.
results, let's go about it.
Let me see here. You know what? Actually, use the second one, the AACSHH.
By the way, this application, I don't know if you guys have heard about Replit at all. Great. I hope you understand the implications of creating an application through Replit. It does not take a lot of time and you can come up with a lot of features. So if you're seeking out product management, there's a way to see your vision happening just before you. So we have been using this as well during our sales pitch to our clients as to these are the interfaces, this is how the workflow would look like. So it gets them the immediate reaction as to how things would look like for them. So we have gone about our sales pitch beyond PPTs. We have gone with demos that are ready to help them see that what kind of problems we are here trying to solve and how it would be solved. Yep. Yes, Andrew. Hmm. Here, can we see the results or something of that sort if we have the screen?
Yeah, they all need to come in and start a simulation. So
Okay.
All right. Whoever joined in, set up your company, and go and confirm your first allocations. Yeah, these every time happens with a demo.
A part and parcel of going about a product and trying to ship them.
Yeah. Okay, another minute for everyone to get in and lock in their first allocations, and then we can move forward. Perfect, Mayuri. So I'll forward the simulation 10 more seconds. People who join in later will just have a late start to the startup. That's an element to it as well, apparently.
All right, let's see what you got, Ashar.
Perfect. So the acquisition has been logged in. Let me show you. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. So none of you have gone bankrupt yet, which is a good sign. Let's keep it that way. There have been no acquisitions, which is also a good sign. You don't want to sell your company or buy new companies in the first quarter of your startup. So this is the market distribution currently. I think 6% started off as a tech founder. Four people started off as a business person. And I don't know whose company this is in Virgie, but they're doing really well. 9,000 in the first month.
They can raise their hands if they want.
That's fun.
Yeah, what's your secret? Tell us your secret recipe here.
What did I even do?
That's the answer you'll get from most of the entrepreneurs in the world.
Yeah, I think I did want to like add more to like the team building. I think like I gave people like bonuses or something to like improve the team morale. I don't know if that did something, but yeah.
Could be, but don't take that as a matrix to success and keep spending on just team building. There are other factors you need to do.
It is one of the consequential factors, but yeah.
Yeah. Lock in your next allocations. I love this name, lunch. All right, ending quarter in 5 seconds. All right. Now we are in Q3. and Vergy has been bested by Wellnest. Doing really well actually, 61,000, miles above everyone. Who is the person and what is your key to success?
Well, Wellness, I created the Wellness, but I don't know exactly. I'm just doing things on the platform, so I cannot really tell you what I thought of. But yeah, I spent, I think, more money on digital marketing instead of,
Which shows up in your customers.
And she's got
yeah.
5 times as many customers as the next student,
Mhm.
or almost, well, 4 times.
Now keep in mind the entire total addressable market is shared between all of you. So if you're spending money on marketing and no one else is, so you're automatically capturing more customers.
So this is a closed ecosystem, I assume, that only the students that are participating is your competition. There's nobody else, right?
Right. And there are a few NPCs as well that might pop in and try to buy your company off at some
You
point.
could be in different industries in this business, right? Somebody could be energy, somebody could be medical, right? So
Yeah. So that aspect hasn't been introduced yet. It's like one big companies, like giants like Google, who can be in anything. And then you're just a small startup. But that's a good point in terms of improvement, and that's where we see this roadmap going.
maybe segregate it by different types of businesses, different
Exactly.
industries. So who is your target market for this?
So we're basically working on a platform for educational tools for all sorts of universities, corporate training, etc. So this is one aspect of it. So this is one of the tools that will be available, sort of like Prism, if you want to call it like that, but it's a bit different where any instructor can go and create their own exercises or
Right.
their own simulations.
So if you're serious about taking this to market, I could spend an hour with you and you could probably take copious notes about who you can sell it to. There's different associations for entrepreneurship educators across the country. There's probably 1,000 different schools or more that teach entrepreneurship, maybe a couple thousand, just in the United States. So universities, colleges, Farley centers, Polsky Center, there's all sorts of, just in Chicago alone, there's probably a dozen centers for entrepreneurship, including incubators and accelerators. This could be used as a way to train new founders, right?
Right.
But you got to figure out how you're going to get paid. I mean,
I think
a lot of these centers are going to say, "Great, great, give it to me for free, and I'll use it for the next 5 years, and I'll give you feedback," right?
I mean, we are okay
Yeah.
with that if they give us the data.
And you're okay if you get the data?
Yeah, well, that's the data we need to tweak the platform. And once we have the platform that we think that works fine, I think that's when we charge. I think money is not the first avenue here. It's making the platform good enough to make money.
Anyway, the money is mostly on the corporate side of things and corporate deals. So if we're able to get data from and reiterate our AIs that are running in the background using those data, that's a win-win for us.
Sure, there are a few questions. The first question is, are you also going to interpret the competitive landscape? Is it same for every kind of startup that we selected in the very first step?
It's actually simulated. So your choices from the very beginning contribute towards what you are right now. So the mobile people like Frodo coming up on the second spot, they have a much larger addressable market, so they can chuck up more clients compared to a B2B, because the B2B market is smaller. The individual token is big, the individual receipt is big, but the addressable market is smaller. So every individual choices you make have repercussions, just like in the real world startup. You might see an orange button on top in any one of quarters, which are quarterly events like acquisitions, recession, and those sort of things. You need to keep them in check as well. All right, ending the quarter.
We're going to have to wrap it up soon, guys. So maybe you want to answer
perfect.
last quarter.
Yeah, so basically, what you get from this exercise is, I think some of you might have alluded to it. As you can see, the competition wellness just pushed sky above everyone else. So this game is a cheat code in terms of marketing. The more money you put into marketing, the better results you're gonna get. But what you want to take away from this is there's no one way to run a startup. There's no plug and play method. If you're doing something different from everyone else, that doesn't mean you're doing it incorrectly. It's just you're doing it differently. That might be an avenue that no one has explored yet. So always keep thinking about ideas. Uh, talk to people you trust about with your ideas, who you know will give you constructive feedback. Have that feedback loop going, and never be too afraid to try it out. Their MVPs were created to try out your ideas without heavy investments. So you can actually try it out without raising a lot of funds. And don't be too scared of going into entrepreneurship. I have 3 failed startups and I'm still at it. So don't be too afraid.
Yeah.
I,
And just to add on to it, a lot of you did not know what you're going to do in this particular simulation. You just went about it. And that tells you the entire scenario of starting a company versus a simulated company where you know what kind of a company you are, where you have to make decisions in that very particular lane. But when it comes to forming a startup, you need to solve a problem. And do not wait to perfect the idea. Never do that. Just execute. And as Ashar was saying, that he has had 3 failed startups, and that way he gets to understand that what kind of requirements he would end up building the next iteration he makes. The same that is true for every entrepreneur founder who goes about building a successful company.
I think the key is also to understand your business model and what's important to the market. Is there proper product market fit? These are the questions that we explore in entrepreneurship, whether it's Nuvention Energy, Nuvention Medical, MEM 419. We've got a variety of courses, all kind of revolving around the same theme, which is achieving the optimal product market fit. So technology alone isn't a product. We talk about this in technology strategy. Every technology that's going to be successful needs to have a business model, a product, if you will, an application of that technology that represents something valuable to the marketplace. So any questions for these guys? Go ahead, Shubham. I'm sorry.
Just about that product market fit, you know, you would go about finding a lot of graphs, documentation, case study as to how to find one, but it's more of an art than anything else. It is usually that you have to keep your ears close to pain points, users' pain points. I think what is your savior, then how? I think firstly you have to understand what is the problem that you are solving. A lot of times we do not have that clarity. And whenever you ask questions around about what would be your product market fit, you would never have a straight answer. So keep close to user pain points. The app that we are building for this vertical farming operation, it changes every now and then. Every second week, we have a requirement that we did not account for, and probably include that in the application. Right now, our strategy is that it should float for any business that is trying to do vertical farming in the United States. So for that, you have to keep close to the problem. And eventually, the product would end up being a market fit. But it's a journey. It's not a decision that you have made in the first step. So go about making and breaking things as you go about building your startup.
Yeah, if anything you want to take away from the entire thing, if it's just one thing you want to take away, is start talking to people. Talk to anyone you can find, maybe your customer, maybe a homeless person roaming around in Chicago, but talk to him. The more info you get, the better you can position your products, the better you can think about things. So don't be too scared of talking to people and their judgment, because even if they're judging you, that's a data point for you to assess.
Yep.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've been teaching entrepreneurship for more than a dozen years. And that's been the key message from day one in every class. In some classes, we require 30, sometimes it's 40 or 50 interviews of potential clients, potential partners, consultants, anyone who knows the industry, who has something to say, suppliers, partners, anyone who is in that ecosystem. Interview them, spend a half an hour, 15 minutes even, try to understand not can you sell them something, because that's not what you're there to do. You're trying to see, is there a problem to be solved? Is there an opportunity to be had? Can your technology align with the value proposition of that problem, right? Does it actually solve the problem, or does it create other problems? So, and also understanding some of the subtleties, like in medical device, you've got FDA approval. You've got all sorts of regulatory requirements, right? In the case of fintech, you've got all sorts of privacy issues and security issues. So every industry, including higher ed, has its own regulatory framework. So in higher ed, that would be called FERPA, right? So if you're going to be using, student data, you have to protect it, and you have to protect it from getting, escaping from your system and being shared with others within the system. Any questions for these guys as we start to let them go? And it's been more than half an hour. So questions or comments for Ashar and then the rest? All right. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys. Job well done.
Perfect. All right.
Lots.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everyone.
And feel free to drop off if you like. I'm going to let the
Sure.
students know that there is going to be a little quiz at the end today, to basically for attendance purposes. If you go into Canvas for this course, you will find a quiz that's online. It's 2 questions, very simple 2 questions. There should be self-evident based on the discussion we've had today. And frankly, I think this is a place for you to at least show that you were here, that you got something out of it. Any questions about the triangulation that I mentioned earlier, about how to get a job through triangulation, right? If for example, I know somebody at, let's say Caterpillar, right? Tony Belkin, you want to get to Tony? I know Tony real well. I worked with him for 20 years, right? If I send him a note, he'll read it. If I send him a note, he'll pass it on, and he'll probably help you get a job at Caterpillar. But you can't just shotgun it. It's got to be a very good fit for you. It's got to be a good, it's got to be an open rec for them. So make sure that you know exactly what you're looking for, you know exactly, why you're the right fit for it. Make a good cover letter, adapt your resume to fit the job. Send me the note before the deadline, before the rec is dropped and closed, and I'll get it to Tony. That's just one small example, but there's Tony, there's Shore Microsystems, there's Baxter. We've got companies all over Chicago, all over the Midwest. And your fellow alumni and fellow students can also be good reference points as well. So comments about triangulation. I think we talked a little bit about the business model. Let's talk about the homework for today. We were talking about OpenAI and the homework, the WSJ article. By show of hands, who actually read the article? Who had a chance to read it? Nicholas, thank you. Let's hope it's not just Nicholas, right? Oh, Deeptha, okay, perfect. Prachi, Vineet, Shukbat, Manjana, Sharanya. Okay, great. So for the folks who read the article, is there a problem with OpenAI? Is there a problem with the AI industry in terms of business models? And if so, what is it?
Not enough client.
Not enough client, okay. Are you saying there's not enough people using AI?
Not using AI. Most of the people are using AI. I'm using AI. Everybody is using AI.
So it's not a problem of not enough clients, right? I mean,
But
everybody with a pulse is using it, right?
Correct. But the problem is that maybe they don't have enough resources to pay like annual fees for it, or like monthly fees for it.
Right.
That's the problem.
Actually,
so
I
corporate
think
versions, there's like a corporate version of these AIs that need to be paid for by corporations, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's become the problem. So if you remember the early days of Dropbox grew very, very quickly. You had basically a free membership, a free subscription, I think it was under 2 gigabytes of data initially. And then you can invite others to join with you, share your folders, and that became a viral approach. So the number of users grew very, very quickly. So the user count wasn't the problem. The problem was the revenue. They weren't generating enough revenue, right? So it gets back to the business model. Giving away your product is not an adequate business model, right? You have to have a fraction of those customers that are willing to pay to use that product, perhaps in a more sophisticated way. So in the form of Dropbox, Dropbox actually came up with Dropbox Teams, and they sold that to corporations to say, okay, you got large teams that need more than 2 gigabytes of data storage, so we will charge you a different fee, and you can have a closed system that was more secure, et cetera, et cetera. So they found corporate customers that were willing to pay for that, and that small fraction, maybe less than 5% of the users on Dropbox are paying for the other 95%, right? Devanshu, you had something to say?
Yeah, I messaged it in the chat itself. I'm just saying that people are not just ready to pay for it yet, and the enterprises that have implemented AI have not had a significant impact after its implementation. That's what I feel. That's why it's just that, and they think that it's in vain, probably maybe 5% or 2% of increase in their ARR, maybe. So it's not as significant as people had thought that AI would make
But wait a minute, Devanshu. Aren't people getting laid off and companies, letting people go because of AI? I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of people have lost their jobs to AI. Right? No?
Yeah.
Actually, Mark, if you consider all the jobs that has been lost, they were like an accessory job, like what in the current market, the AI is, I think, so good for making PPTs and all, but for complex actual analytics, the AI is extremely ambitious. What OpenAI Sam Altman is going, it's extremely he's going extremely ambitious, thinking that everything would be replaced with AI. That's what I think.
Well, I wouldn't file my taxes based on it. I mean, I can certainly see some problems. Sukbot, you got your hand up?
Yes, as I understand that so many companies make investment on the OpenAI to make a product growth on their company, but the result from the MIT and other research found the opposite result.
That they're not getting the efficiencies they thought they were.
Yep.
And the ROI is negative, or it's zero.
Yeah.
I've been reading those articles as well. Can I ask you guys a favor? Could you turn your cameras on? It freaks me out to see all these black screens. I'm worried that maybe you guys are on a beach somewhere and I'm not. So please turn your cameras on. So what I've read in the article was 3% of the users pay $12 billion in revenue to use these tools. And this is OpenAI in particular. And yet there's a $44 billion loss expected over the next 4 years. So for every dollar they're earning, they're losing almost the same amount of money, right?
But they are collecting data as well, right? So that is the most important part initially, instead of the profitability is what I think initially.
Okay. But how long can you do that? How long can you run at a loss? And how long can you, basically collect data at the expense of your users? Frankly, it's an article of faith, right? The investors have to be willing to take a loss until somehow some new business model in the future is going to pop up. But it's not clear what that business model is it?
Like Mark, I think for many businesses, as it goes for materialistic businesses, like for product services and all, the product that you get, it's actually, you can hold them out. It's actually physical and viable to see. So the sales and everything is, you can actually see the profits and sales and everything. But as compared to tech products, for example, if we take example of Facebook, in the initial days, it was just as OpenAI, like everyone was not understanding why we would need connectivity when we already have messages and all. But at the end of the day, when they collected data and when they improved on their own, they finally proved that all the data collection, all the research that they put in it, the money that they lost eventually gave much better profits at the end. So I think data collection is important, but it's again very extremely ambitious that people will keep on giving you money without any product.
So let me get a little more brutal, right? DeepSeek was able to develop large language models that were far more efficient at far less cost with far less computing power, right? We've been scaling the AI industry based on an assumption of AI, of the need for power, the need for energy, the need for the number of parameters, billions of tokens, tens of billions of tokens in some cases for any given model, which requires tons of CPU, tons of data center capacity. The country has been building data centers almost as if it's a whole new gold rush, right? There's data centers on every corner. I think if you just Google new data centers in Illinois, you might all be surprised. There's probably one in your backyard. I'm pretty sure there's a couple in my backyard. What's scary is these data centers are absorbing energy that maybe we could use to heat our homes, to run our television sets, to run our refrigerators, to live everyday life. So while we're doing this, we're building on an assumption that might be fallacious. There are other models that are more efficient, that require fewer tokens, that require less energy. So all this money that we're pouring into data centers on the expense side might be overkill, right? And I lived through when we were putting in fiber optics back in the 2000 timeframe, right? We built so much fiber optic, I think it was by 2003 or so, that we literally had enough fiber optic to last for the rest of the decade. We shut down fiber optic construction and pulling for almost 5-6 years because we had overbuilt. Just as we overbuilt the railroad system, just as, this is the nature of capitalism. We swing from, under capacity to very soon over capacity. And, finding that middle ground is not so easy. I saw a hand up, but I think it went down. Whose hand was up?
That was me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so why we're talking about the resource that's required, right?
Yeah.
Initially, I mean, I think like maybe 2 years back, I read an article about how much water and power goes into one text prompt that we get. And that's like a lot that could last an entire winter for someone, maybe not as cold as Chicago, but some other winter region, right? So that was baffling. And I immediately had a very pessimistic outlook on how AI or the growth of AI and all the data centers that is supporting the growth of AI. And ironically, while I shared this news with my mom, she said, yeah, initially, anytime any new technology comes up, there's obviously the world's first computer was the size of an entire room. Now we have smartphones, smart rings, smart glasses that take absolutely no space at all. So she was like, when technology is new, obviously it's not going to be at its best, but with time, we are going to find ways that will enable us to consume lesser energy, lesser space, lesser everything. So I think that's sort of probably what Sam Altman is also pushing at, and probably why he's continuing to get great fundings, despite not having the proof that we can do it as of this moment. Right?
And I'm sure your mom would agree with this too if I were to ask her, but let me ask you. Are we on a path like we had with telecom, like we had with the .com, like we had with computing, that we're in the middle of a bubble and that the bubble ultimately bursts in some form or fashion? It could be a huge bubble burst that's very dramatic, and it could be a series of small bubble bursts that do hurt but don't devastate the landscape. Do you agree with that? And which path are we on? The dramatic bubble burst or a series of smaller bubble bursts?
Well, personally, I think it's going to be a series of smaller bubble bursts because we are not entirely dependent on just one platform like ChatGPT or Perplexity. I feel like we have the tech and the understanding now to be able to. So there are ways we can set up an AI that works only for your laptop with only your data, right? So I feel like we're not dependent on just particular people and the amount of investments they're making, but we will have impact. So for example, when the dot-com crash happened, certain companies went bankrupt abruptly, and then there was FX. So I feel like if the worst happens, then we will all be affected a little bit, but not in the sense that we're all down. We can
Right.
keep picking up the pieces and continue building.
And towards that end, I guess towards the upbeat version is there's always winners and there's always losers. Obviously, Amazon was a winner because, you know, when the pet food online business exploded or imploded, they started selling pet food on Amazon. So Amazon went from books to everything in a matter of 20 years, right? Sujit?
Yes. So actually, one more thing that I wanted to add, like Jinta mentioned, that like OpenAI is still continuously getting the funding for AI and everything basically. So what I feel is people aren't still completely like are not be able to completely comprehend that how this AI is going to turn out and how it's going to disrupt the market if it will. And since because they're not understanding what's going to happen, so they don't just want to be left behind in the race, because in case this AI takes like soars to great heights, so in case, so they don't want to be left behind, because if they so I think we can take the example of Apple in that matter, that Apple is like miserable right now in case when we see Apple's AI, the Apple Intelligence, the way they marketed it, it was a big flop. So, but like Facebook, if we check others, Facebook, Google, like any other AI is still better than Apple AI. So basically, nobody wants to, be left behind in this race. So I think that's why they are like everyone is getting funding in this case. Like even though they don't know what's going to happen with this.
I agree with you. I think Apple has been a big disappointment. I guess, like I said, there's always winners, there's always losers. The typical loser is the one like Apple who's got a very stable and profitable business, has no reason to pivot to the new technology, and they frankly will be very glad when either they acquire somebody who's got good AI technology, or AI somehow crashes and burns, and they can point to, hey, we didn't invest that much to begin with, so we didn't lose much. It's already 2:30, so I know I want to kind of recognize your time. I'm going to move the due date of the quiz to 3 o'clock, so it gives you a little bit of time to do the quiz. Hopefully you found it online. It should be under the quiz section of Canvas. I posted the code. If anyone has a need for the code, let me know. Questions or comments about today? Was it worthwhile to talk to and listen to HexaOne? Was that worthwhile? Want to give me a thumbs up if it was? Yes? Okay, good. We talked about business models. Was that valuable? And we talked about triangulation. Was that valuable? All right. Let me know if you need help with triangulation. Obviously you can't go to the well every week or every day, but you can certainly call upon me maybe once or twice a quarter to do a warm introduction for you if you think you need it. Otherwise, there's a lot of resources out there. The MEM alum, in fact, all Northwestern alum want you to succeed. The more you succeed, the better it reflects on the program, the better it reflects on the university. So with that, have a great weekend. And you don't need to stay warm because it's already warm. So you might want to think about buying a winter coat for when it's not warm. So because eventually it will get cold. People always ask, what's my recommendation? There's that Coat Warehouse, Burlington Coat Factory. That's usually a pretty good place. Otherwise, Nordstrom Rack is probably a really good place as well. Or you can just go online, just, JCPenney online, or perhaps someplace like, I don't know. Yeah, Land's End is probably a good idea too. And now's the time because you'll get a good sale today versus a month from now when it's cold. Last minute comments? All right, you want the access code? It's MEM 490-1. And somebody said Uniqlo has great coats. I have no idea what that is. I guess I'll have to check them out. So,
or Amazon.
Amazon, yeah. Why not? Look, I live on Amazon. If I stopped shopping at Amazon, I think their stock would go down 10%. I mean, Amazon delivers. I'm Amazon Prime, so I get free delivery. So that makes me addicted to the thing. So,
yeah.
And also Costco isn't bad. They got good quality at a decent price. So,
correct.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mark. Bye.
I just have a quick question.
Sure. I am.
I think there's like a couple different assignments. So there's like week 1 quiz, there's week 1 assignment, and then I think there's like first group assignment. I just wanted to be clear on what we had to work on, like individually or in the groups that were assigned.
Okay, so you're talking about over the next month, right?
Over the next day.
Over the next day, there's only the week 1 assignment that's due today.
Okay, and is that in groups or individually?
Well, you can tell by looking at the at the Canvas site. It'll tell you specifically in the case of week 1 assignment. Let me see what I said here. I think it was an individual assignment. No, this is a group assignment. Yeah.
Okay, so that one's due tonight, and it's a group
Yeah,
assignment.
it was a group assignment, but I mean, is that going to be a problem? Do I need to push that out, or are you guys going to be able to do that?
No, but Professor, I don't see a group created, at least in the group section of Canvas. So do we pick a group or will you assign one?
If you go to the people in Canva, there is the group assignments already.
Yep, it's already there. I think
So-
Mayuri is the only one not in a group. I'm going to add Mayuri to group 3.
So basically, we just write a paragraph of our where we discussed about the
Yeah, let
AI.
me just go through it from the top to the bottom here. Okay, so assignment 1 is right here. So assignment 1, week 1 assignment, September 19th. You read the article, which we just talked about. Be prepared to discuss in class. And then, what is the AI business model here? So that's what the discussion is. In terms of when it's due tonight, I guess, right? At midnight. And the groups are already set up. So if I go to people, assignment 1 group, it's already here. So group 1 are these people, group 2 are these people, group 3, group 4. So these have already been pre-established, guys. So you've been randomly assigned. We'll talk about the final project next week. Let's start looking at it because that's something that's going to be due at the very end of the quarter, okay? So hopefully that helps. I think we still have most of you online. Any questions about the first assignment? And by the way, this is how all your assignments are going to be given to you on Canvas. So always beware, is it a group assignment or individual? Look at the due date, look at the deliverable, and then see who's in your group, and then take it from there. Okay, I think you're set. I hear nothing in response. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend and take care.
Thanks. You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.